Appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, a disappointing loss against a very good JMU team. As the head coach, that starts with me. I ultimately take responsibility for all three phases in our performance. Now the challenge becomes putting a very bad game, a very disappointing game behind us, and moving forward to a game. We got to get the tape corrected, which we'll do today, and then moving forward in a game, a really, really important game with a lot of implications of recruiting, getting to earning a third opportunity for a third game. Which this week's going to be really big for us, and it's going to be a challenge for us as coaches to help our players to get back in the mindset they need to get back into, because it was disappointing in the locker room when you lose a game that way, and a loss is a loss. But that one stung for the way it went, the lopsidedness of the score, disappointing, and it starts with me, and it's my job to get these guys back ready to play. And I think we have really good kids that care about this place a lot, so I expect them to respond the right way with a great opportunity to play at home.
Marvin Parker, WLOS, ABC, Asheville. So, you got to win two to qualify for the postseason, but you do have two at home. So it took all season to have a homestand, but just how nice it is to know that for the next 2 weeks you don't have to travel.
Obviously, we can't really talk about bowl games, so we get this one. And it's a big one versus a very skilled, well-coached team. They've done a great job in a quick transition, turn around the roster a little bit because they lost a lot through the transfer portal and have done a nice job replacing. But just getting to play at home is a big deal for just the energy we'll get from our crowd. We owe them one for the last time we played at home. We started slow, and we need to start fast, and I expect our crowd to be awesome and show up because I think they know what's on the line as well.
So there's still plenty of football to be played, but thus far in the season, you've won a close game, but the team's been close on the losing side a few times. Yeah. So it's just a matter of that to be a 7-win team. I know this last game's kind of, there's a chasm of space and performance, but overall, does the team, coming off of an uncompetitive game, do they still feel like the season's been competitive?
I don't want to speak for them. It's really a question that you really find out the character of your team when you go through hard things. I believe in this team, and I believe they care about each other enough. Where we're gonna have a great practice today. We're gonna have a great week of preparation. It's our job as coaches to also find them help their way and help them find their way and help them get back to a place where, because when you lose a game the way you lose, like, it's not just the competitor that gets beat. It's also the kids deal with social media. They deal with other things. They all fight the battle of what happened, why did it happen. They deal with people sliding in their DMs and saying negative things to them. And that's a big part of this thing, is educating kids on how to respond the right way. And it is hard. It's hard to lose. It's one of the hard, as a young person, like, outside of losing loved ones and those things, like, losing games matters a lot. Now, these kids invest a lot into football. This coaching staff invests a lot into football to make these kids have a life-changing experience. And we have lost some close games this year. And with preparation and hard work, those close games become wins in the future. We also just lost a very uncompetitive game as well that is disappointing and will sting. And it should sting. If you care about it and you're competitive, it will sting. And it will drive all of us. And I hope that we're going to find out a lot about a lot of people about how we respond to that. Are you made of the right stuff? Do you come out and compete regardless of your circumstances? We're always going to compete in this program, and we want kids in here that believe the same thing that we do, that competition makes you better. And every time it's a blessing to get out there and play a game. And you're only guaranteed so many of them. And when that time clock stops in football, it stops forever. And we all run up against it. And so you take advantage of every opportunity you have. You work your tail off for 60 minutes on a Saturday, and we're excited to get started with preparation.
And this is the last one from me with going up against, JMU. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. But sometimes you see a test and you see how much road still has to go. Maybe you want to play App State football, but what about JMU being the flagship of the Sun Belt do you kind of admire as a program to chase and hopefully attain?
We have our own separate goals. I give JMU a lot of credit for the team they are. But I want to stand alone in our vision for this place. And it's going to start with putting good football on display for our home crowd on Saturday. and in a really, really important game, the most important game of the season for us, because you're coming off something that was hard, and we lost the way we didn't want to lose, and no one expected to lose that way. So let's see who we are. Let's see what we're made of. And then it's about finishing the season the right way and retaining your players and building something, which is really hard to do in today's age. But none of this matters unless we respond the right way on Saturday. And that starts today with how we come in here and with the right attitude, sit up in your chair, pay attention, have some intensity about you, understand why things happen, and respond the right way to them. And it sounds really simple, but it's really, really hard because you're playing with human emotion, the human mind, a mind that filled with clutter is not focused on victory. And so that's our job as coaches, to help these kids get back to where they need to get to play winning football.
Coach David Jackson, based on everything you've said, and you kind of set this up earlier as well, you can only blow the whistle so hard at this time of year. Is this as much about mentality than physicality? How do you balance that and ultimately distill the message that you're going to get to these guys this week?
Yeah, David, that's the question. That's what we're searching, and it's both. It's the physicality with the mentality, and you are building the mentality. You're always building mentality, but it's the same reason why you continue to play all your starters throughout a game like that, because you're trying to build the mentality that we don't quit, no matter what the circumstances. We don't quit, and that we are going to be competitive in every aspect of this program, even when it's not going the way we want it to go. The only way to get out of that situation is to work. So we're building a mentality in everything we do about how we attack this preparation. How do you handle a loss? How do you respond? How do you bounce back? And that's going to be the most important thing of who we are. And as we go forward, we're going to get this thing right. And we're not where we want to be, and that's on me. Ultimately, I'm the head coach. So everything that's negative in this program that I have touched, everything that's good is the players. That's how I look at things. And our players are going to continue to compete. They're going to work hard because we have good kids. But we are building a mentality that I want to be very clear, even with our players, like that we're building this thing the right way. And the mentality has to be to fight. And it has to show up in practice. And at this time of year in November, what you do in November, the old saying of they remember in November, they also remember how you finish. And you'll remember for the rest of your life on this. For these seniors, sending your seniors out the right way, like they'll remember this for the rest of their life as well.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Dowell, what happened offensively on Saturday such that when you got through that opening segment of plays that you had scripted up and started making adjustments to what you saw JMU doing on the field, you were still unable to really gain the traction?
Yeah, I think they controlled the line of scrimmage. I think that's where it starts. Then we weren't opportunistic. If we catch a ball the first play of the game, we have an explosive pass. If we block on the perimeter and do a good job out there, then we have a positive gain on a play where we throw an interception. And we have a number count. We have a 3/2 number count. We don't execute that way. And then as the game goes, that we have a run called where we got to secure a snap before you do anything. It's when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you make your bed. When you're playing quarterback, you catch a snap first, and it's the details and the execution, which obviously I didn't do a good enough job during the week getting done. And you turn and hand the ball off, and you have an explosive run. When you're playing against a good team, their margin for error is small, and they're a very good team. And that defense is older. When you look at it, there's a lot of juniors and seniors that they've been able to retain, which helps them. And that's where you start feeling the pressure, and then all of a sudden you start doing too much. And you start playing outside the system because they feel the pressure. Everyone feels you, and you guys feel like in the momentum of the game, like it's not going your way. And you keep talking about, hey, 60 minutes, all you got, trust, no judgment. Well, that's what we're talking about, no judgment. You have to treat each play like it has a life and history of itself. And if when you don't, it becomes rat ball. It becomes detail. It becomes one person not finishing, one person not hitting the gap they're supposed to, one person not catching a snap, one guy not blocking on the perimeter. And that's credit to them as far as they're a good football team. They applied pressure to us, and I didn't get our team to respond well enough.
Can you tell us anything about A.J. Swann's physical situation and what that looks like for him going forward?
Yeah, not right now. I don't know all the details. Probably not a great situation for him right now, but he's battled through a lot this year, so we'll know later this afternoon on that.
You mentioned mentality you're trying to form by keeping starters in the game. Certainly in his case, in the second half, you could see that he was compromised mobility-wise. At any time were you considering, hey, when's the right time to get A.J. out of there based on his ability to execute as well as he needs to versus, putting J.J. in?
Yeah, AJ wanted to play. He wanted to finish the game. At no point was he ever, even when he kind of hurt his wrist a little bit, he came over and he's like, I'm good. It hurts, but like I'm fine. I'm good to go. And it wasn't until he finally got the last injury, kind of got his ankle a little bit, that was even a thought process of, because we are trying to establish a mentality, and tough players want to play, and they want to play through, and they want to see things through, and the team wanted him in. They made that clear. The offense wanted him playing. He wanted to play, so you stick with your guy. And then when something happens and he can't go any longer because of the physical aspect, then you expect your backups to come in and play well.
Hey, Coach. Nori Okum with Appalachian Weekly News. The running game was really good early on, but there were a few offensive line injuries. How does that affect your running attack?
Yeah, it definitely affects it. Like, you don't want to make excuses. Like, we're not running the ball the way we need to. We're not running the ball the way we wanted to start the season. You're also missing 2 starters on the right side of your offensive line. But no one cares, right? It's like, hey, whoever's out there has got to play. And it is a mentality as well. Like, I believe in those guys that are out there playing. And now you start getting wore down a little bit. And then it's when you don't control the line of scrimmage, because we popped some things early in the game, and then the score gets a little bit lopsided, and you feel like you have to throw it a little bit more. For us to beat that team, we were going to have to play complementary football, and it was going to have to be a low-scoring, sluggy, messy game that you don't turn the ball over. You limit their explosives so you can play 3-phase complementary football. So all of it, like where our team is right now, we need each phase to do their job well together, because one side affects the other, and we need all 3 phases clicking, doing their job right now. So the offensive line, I thought there were some things there. There wasn't enough consistency. But early in the game, I thought we were able to run the football a little bit, and then as it went, I felt like they eventually started to control the line of scrimmage.
And now that you've just played a top 25 team, what are your objectives for the next couple of games at home?
Yeah, I understand the question completely, but the objective is Marshall and having a great practice, because we're going to have our hands full with a good team. We're going to have our hands full of getting these kids back. I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about the challenge of getting these guys to respond the right way and continue to develop the mentality of the never fight, like chip on your shoulder attitude that this place needs to have and deserves to have. And so that's the challenge for us this week. The objective is to have great practices this week, make sure our mentality is right, make sure that we're playing the right people that are competitive, that are putting us in situations to be successful, that are going to stay in the fight. Because at this point in the season, like everyone 4-6, and you find out a lot about people during these times. And every day's an interview. Coaches, players, for all of us, and every day's an interview. And so today is a big day. The objective is to put this tape to bed, and it's going to be really hard. Today is going to be a very emotional day for all of us, because all of us are sad, we're disappointed. We let a lot of people down, starting with myself. Like, I let a lot of people down with the way I led that football team in that game, but it's about how we respond. And I can promise you this, we're going to give you everything we got to get this thing right. And that starts with today, and it starts with putting the tape to bed, correcting the stuff, making sure that the kids know how talented they are and how special they are, and how glad we are to have them part of our program, and make sure they fight the right way.
Matt President, App State Sports Network. Coach, as you begin your preparation for Marshall and you dive into that tape, what stands out about the way they do things and what they do on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, running quarterback or dual threat quarterback that's going to create problems that way. It's always a challenge. In this conference, you see more in this conference than the previous conference I was in with the dual threat guys, which creates stress on your defense, because it creates conflict on zone reads. When do I tackle the back? Do we make dive calls? Do we want the back to carry it? Do we want the quarterback to carry it? And then on defense, Tony's always done a great job. Creates havoc, aggressive play caller, will bring zero from anywhere, very aggressive. And so they create challenges with their scheme on defense as well.